Imagine receiving a letter that predicts your death. No threats, no demands, just chilling details about how and when you will die. The letter arrives in a plain envelope with no return address. As you read, your heart races, your hands tremble. The words are clear, precise, and terrifying. Days later, the prediction comes true. This is the story of a serial killer unlike any other. A killer who didn't just strike, he warned his victims first. The victims, paralyzed by fear, could do nothing but wait for their fate. Each letter was a death sentence, meticulously planned and executed. The killer's eerie foresight left investigators baffled, and the public in a state of panic. How could someone predict such gruesome events with such accuracy? This chilling mystery remains unsolved, a dark chapter in the annals of crime. It started with a single case. A young woman named Claire Robinson received an unmarked envelope. Inside, a simple letter, typed no signature, no return address. The words, "On Thursday at exactly 9:17 p.m. you will take your final breath." She thought it was a sick joke, but when Thursday night came, she never woke up. Cause of death? Unknown. No signs of struggle, no forced entry, no drugs or poison detected, just dead. At first, police dismissed it as coincidence. Until it happened again. Claire Robinson was a vibrant young woman, loved by her friends and family. She had no known enemies. The investigation into her death was thorough. Detectives interviewed everyone close to her, but no leads emerged. The case grew cold, but the eerie nature of the letter kept haunting the investigators. What kind of person would send such a letter? And how did they know the exact time of her death? These questions remained unanswered, but the chilling message was clear. Someone out there was playing a deadly game. Over the next 6 months, 3 more people received the same typewritten letters, different words, same message, a date, a time, a promise of death. Each victim followed the same pattern, receiving a warning, and then dying exactly as predicted. No signs of struggle, no obvious cause of death, just gone. Whoever was behind this wasn't. The media called him the prophet, a killer who knew the future. But how? Was he some kind of mastermind orchestrating elaborate murders, a psychological manipulator, or was there something even darker at play? Some believe the letters were psychological traps, that the victims' own fear triggered their deaths, like some twisted form of self-fulfilling prophecy. Others whispered of something more sinister, a cult, a secret society, a supernatural force. One thing was certain, if the prophet sent you a letter, your days were numbered. Experts have weighed in, offering various theories. Some criminologists believe the prophet had an uncanny ability to predict human behavior. Psychologists suggest he might have been a master of manipulation, using fear as his primary weapon. Forensic experts have analyzed the letters, finding hidden messages and codes that could have influenced the victims' minds. Some even speculate about a larger conspiracy involving a network of individuals working together. Theories abound, but the truth remains elusive. Was the prophet a lone wolf, or part of something much bigger? One thing is clear, the fear he instilled was real and it had deadly consequences. Then one day a letter arrived at the police station, addressed not to a victim but to the lead investigator on the case. The words, Detective James Carter, Saturday, 11:59 p.m., your time is up. The officer tried to brush it off, but deep down, he felt it. The fear, the weight of every victim before him. And when the time came, his radio crackled. Detective Carter was gone. The police scrambled to find him, their hearts heavy with dread. His office was empty, his badge left behind. The search intensified. The police chief addressed the media, urging calm, but the tension was palpable. Detective Carter's family waited anxiously, their worry growing with each passing hour. As midnight approached, the police worked tirelessly, hoping for a breakthrough. The streets were eerily quiet, the only sound was the crackle of the detective's radio. And then a clue emerged, leading them to a new location. They arrived at a dark alley, finding only his badge on the ground. The search continued, but Detective Carter was never found. The prophet vanished. No more letters, no more deaths, no clues to his identity, but one question remains. What if the next letter is for you? Some killers leave no evidence, some leave only fear, and some leave a warning. The prophet's reign of terror left a mark on the city, a chilling reminder of the unknown lurking in the shadows. As the fog rolls in and the streets grow silent, the memory of his warning still haunts those who remember. Could he return? Or is he watching from afar, waiting for the right moment to strike again? The mystery remains unsolved, a puzzle with pieces that may never fit together. But one thing is certain, the fear he instilled will never fade. Subscribe for more chilling mysteries and stay vigilant. You never know when the next warning might come. Gap 3S. After the disappearance of Detective Carter, the public was in a state of panic. News outlets covered the story extensively, and theories about the prophet's identity spread like wildfire. Gap 2S. Some believed he was a disgruntled former police officer, while others thought he was a supernatural entity. Gap 2S. The police received hundreds of tips, but none led to any concrete evidence. Gap 2S. The case remains unsolved to this day, and the prophet's true identity is still a mystery. Gap 2S. Detective Carter's vanishing only added to the fear and uncertainty. Was he taken by the prophet, or did he simply vanish into thin air? Gap 2S. The public's imagination ran wild, with each new theory more chilling than the last. Gap 2S. And as the years passed, the legend of the prophet grew, becoming a ghost story whispered in hushed tones. Gap 2S. But for those who lived through it, the terror was all too real. Gap 2S. The city may have moved on, but the scars remain. Gap 2S. Could the prophet still be out there, watching, waiting? Gap 2S. Only time will tell. Until then, stay safe, stay vigilant, and remember, sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we can't see. Interestingly, similar cases have been reported in other parts of the world. In Europe, a series of letters predicting deaths caused a similar panic. Authorities are investigating whether these cases are connected to the prophet, or if they are copycat crimes. Gap 2S. In Germany, a letter was found predicting the death of a prominent businessman. Just days later, he was found dead under mysterious circumstances. Gap 2S. In France, a similar letter was sent to a local politician who then met a tragic end that aligned eerily with the letter's prediction. Gap 2S. The pattern is unmistakable. A letter, a prediction, and then a death. Gap 2S. Experts are baffled, and international task forces are being formed to investigate these chilling connections. Gap 2S. Could the prophet be operating on a global scale? Or are these merely the actions of deranged copycats inspired by his gruesome legacy? Gap 2S. The mystery deepens as more and more cases come to light, each with the same chilling pattern. Gap 2S. As the investigation continues, one thing is clear: the fear and uncertainty that gripped the city have now spread worldwide. Gap 2S. The prophet's shadow looms large, and until the truth is uncovered, no one is truly safe. Gap 2S. Stay tuned as we continue to delve into this terrifying global phenomenon. And remember, the next letter could be closer than you think. Experts have weighed in on the psychological impact of the prophet's letters. Gap 2S. Dr. Jane Smith, a renowned psychologist, believes that the fear induced by the letters could indeed cause physical symptoms leading to death. Gap 2S. She explains that the power of suggestion and the human mind's response to fear can have profound effects on the body. Gap 2S. This theory, while controversial, adds another layer to the mystery of the prophet. Gap 2S. The mind, it seems, can be as deadly as any weapon. Gap 2S. Dr. Smith's insight has sparked intense debate within the scientific community. Gap 2S. Could it be that the prophet's real power lies not in the physical realm, but in the psychological terror he instills? Gap 2S. As we continue to explore this chilling mystery, we must consider the terrifying possibility that fear itself could be the ultimate killer. Gap 2S. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the dark corridors of the human mind and the sinister influence of the prophet's letters. Gap 2S. The answers may be more disturbing than we ever imagined. The investigation into the prophet's letters is ongoing. Detective Sarah Johnson, who took over the case after Detective Carter's disappearance, has vowed to bring the prophet to justice. She has implemented new strategies and is working with international law enforcement agencies to track down any leads. The case remains one of the most perplexing and chilling mysteries in modern history. Detective Johnson's tenacity and innovative approach have given hope to a weary public. Collaborating with experts in cyber forensics, behavioral analysis, and cryptography, she aims to unmask the elusive figure behind the letters. Despite the challenges, there have been some breakthroughs. New evidence has emerged, hinting at possible connections to similar cases worldwide. The investigation now spans continents, as authorities work tirelessly to piece together the global puzzle. The prophet's reach appears to be far greater than initially thought, and the implications are truly frightening. As the net tightens, the world watches with bated breath, hoping for an end to the reign of terror. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this gripping investigation. Will Detective Johnson succeed where others have failed? Only time will tell. The mystery of the prophet endures, but so does the relentless pursuit of justice. In light of the prophet's letters, authorities have issued public safety tips to help individuals protect themselves. They advise people to report any suspicious letters or packages to the police immediately and to stay vigilant. Public awareness campaigns have been launched to educate people about the potential dangers and to encourage them to take any threats seriously. The hope is that by staying informed and cautious, future tragedies can be prevented. Organizations and communities are coming together to spread the word, ensuring that everyone is aware of the steps they can take to stay safe. Social media platforms, local news stations, and community bulletins are all playing a crucial role in disseminating this vital information. While the investigation continues, it's important for each of us to remain alert and proactive. If you receive a letter or package that seems out of the ordinary, do not open it. Contact the authorities immediately. Remember, your vigilance could save lives. Stay informed, stay safe, and let's work together to put an end to the prophet's reign of terror.